Why are people so anxious today?
I was actually on the front lines of the Columbine High School shooting, which is unfortunately the first high school shooting that kind of started it all. I can't discern that properly for myself. And so I get scared. I have a choice at that moment. I can take it as hurt and something that is going to sting and something that's going to kind of be there for a minute that I'm going to have to get over. Or I can take it and say, oh, that must mean that I am blank.
The Fierce Athlete Podcast is here to empower female athletes to thrive in their God-given identity and femininity. You are a daughter of God, fully feminine, fully strong. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fierce Athlete Podcast. I am your host, Sam Kelly, and I'm so excited for our guest today, in-house, all the way from Denver, Colorado. Yeah, well, this is serious. This is a serious podcast. So good. So good. Our guest, Darilyn Bixenman, is a dear friend of mine and happened to be in Philadelphia with her husband. And so naturally, I made her come to the studio. We've actually been hanging out all day. It's been very fun.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Very fun. I've introduced her to some Philadelphia coffee, wood-fired bagels.
Yep. 3 times toasted.
Yep. All it's key.
It is key.
All the things.
That's right. That's right.
We are having kind of actually a little reunion ourselves.
Yes.
The first time we met was in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Though I just learned that you used to cantor masses in Denver that I may have gone to.
Yes. So yeah, we met via the Holy Spirit, but then in person again.
In person.
Yeah.
At the Given Women's Forum. Shout out to Given.
Yes.
We love Given.
Amen.
I'm an alum. I will speak at the forum this summer.
I'm a returning mentor. And then our daughter Ellie is going to be a participant for the first time this year.
So great.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
Yes.
And 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago.
Yep.
The Women's Forum was happening here in Philadelphia. And one of the participants got COVID. And she was supposed to do 2 days worth of interviewing guests. So individuals who were coming to the forum, who were mentors, who were speakers. And I got a call, I mean, literally
right before. Yeah.
24 hours before the thing started and said, and I answered the phone with the executive director at the time. What do you need?
Yeah.
And she's like, can you come run these interviews? Which was so fun. You can look them up. We'll have to put what the R's in the show notes.
Seriously. No, that was good.
Because it was really good content.
Yep, it was good content.
We'll do it as a teaser.
And there was good questions about what is your gift? What would you tell your 25-year-old self? Yeah. Or your younger self.
Yeah.
For those that are not 25 yet, I guess.
Some of our listeners.
Right.
And so we've been friends ever since. And I have gone to Darilyn multiple times seeking her expertise. So she's a counseling psychologist out of Denver. Yep. And you see only women.
Yeah. Only women.
Now, why is that?
I was fortunate enough back in the late 90s to work with a psychiatrist at the University of Colorado. And she was doing some studies on why depression hits women 3 times the rate of men. And it was really interesting. All the research that she was doing really convicted me that this is an underserved population. And so my areas of expertise now are anxiety, depression, and trauma with women. And I'm a Roman Catholic counselor. So that helps. I see people of all faiths, but I find that it is, it's a language that I am able to speak in and that we can actually interact with in therapy that is helpful for women who want it.
Sure. Yeah. Which is why we have her here. Why we as Fierce, who, I mean, we love our brothers, but we're geared towards women because, I believe what we deal with is unique. We are different. And so, one of the reasons, I call on you and call on your expertise is because you're in it and you see what I see and you're helping these young women find deep healing and freedom.
Right.
And You're also the mom of two athletes.
I am a mom of two female athletes.
Yeah.
They're
Fierce.
They are fierce. They are very fierce. Yes. So, a female dancer at Benedictine College. She's captain of the dance team there, and a sprinter from Catholic University. So Cecilia and Ellie.
Love. Shout out.
Yes.
I hope they're listening.
Yeah.
So again, we've been chatting all day. Darilyn is helping us put together some really phenomenal content for Fierce for our upcoming chapters. Little teaser, stay tuned. And I want to start our conversation. Again, our listener who Fierce reaches out to, we're working with athletes from middle school all the way up through professionals. So there's a wide range. Right. But I see a pretty consistent theme of anxiety.
Yeah.
I think as athletes, of course, maybe you can help us distinguish this. There's normal performance. I'm getting ready to race or to start a game anxiety, but this anxiety is one that kind of overtakes. It's it's hard for a lot of women.
It's hard. It can be paralyzing also.
Yep.
And can overtake so that people aren't able to make decisions in the way that they want to. And kind of live in fear, if you will. And it's that kind of debilitating anxiety that I'm seeing a lot these days. Yeah.
And so while this is a hard topic to talk about because it's a hard reality for a lot of people, I want to have a conversation with you because I want our listeners to I think sometimes when we are struggling, whether it's anxiety, depression, or the whole slew of things that we can struggle with, we can feel pretty isolated and alone.
Yeah.
And so I would love you to kind of put some language to what these women are experiencing, our listeners are experiencing, or a friend of our listeners are experiencing, and then help us kind of progress towards like, okay, why is this happening? And then what can we really do about it?
Yeah.
So let me start with this question, kind of a basic. Why are people so anxious today?
Yeah. That's a good question. And I have, I've been counselor for about 30 years. And so I was actually on the front lines of the Columbine High School shooting, which is unfortunately the first high school shooting that kind of started it all. And it really rocked everybody's world. We couldn't believe that this would happen inside a school where usually people are safe. And so I was there that night, helping families, helping students. And then out of that, received a few students that would come to see me professionally. And they exhibited all the appropriate symptoms for PTSD, anxiety, because they were being shot at. And it was new and it was awful. And hopefully we can not have to live through that again.
Yeah.
And with therapy and with help, they overcame that anxiety and that PTSD. Always a wound and always a scar for our community and for them. I'm seeing more anxiety now in my practice than I did back in 1999 when that happened.
Wow.
And we're not these women that are coming to me in my office. They're not the victims of a shooting. Yeah. They're just living in this world. And so why is anxiety so high just by being in the world? And as I was saying earlier, I love to blame social media for all of it, 100% of it. And I really don't think that that's it. I really don't think that we can blame Instagram or TikTok or any of those things for the increase and uptick in anxiety. I believe just by living in this world, the amount of information that is being thrown at us on a minute-by-minute basis is too much. Our brains are not able to receive that much information in that short of amount of time in rapid-fire succession. We can't do it, and we're not designed that way to do it. If you remember 30 years ago, it was the morning news, the evening news, the morning paper, the evening paper, and we had time to digest all of that information. Now, not only are we getting all of that information, we are unable to discern what is even the right information, what is the correct information, and it's too much. So if you're not even on your computer or on your smartphone or involved with social media, you still have to live in this world where that amount of information is really too much to handle. So for a lot of women, I feel it is this, I'm so externally focused. I have to discern all this information out there. And I'm not quite sure how to do that. And it feels very, very graspy. And I'm just fearful all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like your brain is running on overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about, we live in a hyperactive culture. And to that end, and one of the points I love to bring up about sport, so maybe it's like a silver lining. No, though it's not actually, well, if you're an endurance athlete, you're getting lots of time to think. But I love it because in a lot of regards, you can't be on your phone.
Right.
Or you can't be on your computer, or you can't, it's like driving on the highway, the amount of ads, like the amount of, it's just constantly we're being inundated with information. We're getting notifications. Our watch is buzzing, X, Y, Z. And so it's a lot. And sometimes, I know for me, sometimes getting in the pool and staring at a black line for an hour is just, I feel like I can exhale.
Yeah. And you feel like you can just focus on one thing. And you don't have to focus on a million other things.
Yeah. So there's almost like for our listeners who me included, like whether it's a diagnosable level anxiety or just this kind of anxious heart you kind of wake up with.
Yep.
I think there's real truth to like, wow, I get to go to practice and I just feel better after.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think one of the mainstays in that, what you're saying is that I know that black line. I know that black line. And so anxiety is fueled by so much that we don't know. And so I don't know what you're thinking about me right now. I don't know what my coach is thinking. I don't know what all of these things in the world that are potentially hazardous to me. I don't know. I don't know if I should go keto or gluten-free or what I should do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's so much that I don't know and too much information being thrown at me that I can't discern that properly for myself. And so I get scared. I don't know. And so part of that is then we become so externally focused on our environment to give us all that information, to get control back by knowing, that we kind of become addicted to knowing. And that addiction kind of fuels more anxiety until we are kind of a puddle. We can't make decisions. We can't execute what we think is probably the appropriate line at work or whatever, because we're like so unsure of everything that we do nothing.
Yeah, you're just like paralyzed by the uncertainty.
Absolutely.
And I think, and I talk about this sometimes, a lot of us athletes are very perfectionistic. And so if I can't do it perfectly, or if I don't know, then I just won't start.
Yes.
Because there's that fear of failure, which we've talked about and on the podcast and stuff.
And fear of disappointment. Really. That's really what I can't handle. I can't handle the disappointment.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of can handle failure more because that's one of the outcomes. Right?
Yeah.
It's either success or failure. And so I fear the failure, but I also sometimes I can fear the success, what that might mean for me, right? Moving forward in success. But man, I just am, I don't want to disappoint others. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to disappoint myself. And so that is the perfectionistic qualities that I see, is that it's not so much that I'm afraid to fail. It's just I'm afraid to disappoint.
Yeah. Especially if a lot of where you're getting feedback is, we've talked about this, a couple months ago in our identity podcast, but from those external things, whether it's what I do, what I look like, my perception of how I compare to others, or, I always claim it's the hardest, other people's opinions.
Other people's opinions. Yeah. And I don't know what other people's opinions are. So I get to work. I am going to try to control your opinion of me so that somehow, some way, I will know at some point. And then all of my focus is on you, not on me and what do I know about me? What do I know to be true about myself? How can I act accordingly given what I know about my own interior? It's all based upon what I want you to think about me.
Which is then perpetuated by, things like social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. I was leading a retreat recently, and this is, I would say this is a theme that it's always been there, but I'm seeing it more and more. And it kind of makes sense based off what you're saying with this. I'm externally focused. Is a lot of young people just have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Which is hand in hand or leads to anxiety.
Absolutely. They don't know who they are, and they sit in a wishing place of who they wish they could be or want to be based upon all of the things that they're seeing or who others might want them to be. And so it's a real wishing place, even though in terms of who they are is beautiful and good and true. Maybe I don't know who I am, and I don't want to know that part. I want to be somebody else. I don't want to be me. And that fuels a lot of anxiety. Yeah,
I'm just like, yep. Like look at all the things that can lead to all the steps and all the confusion and all the just rejection of self. And okay, so all of this is playing out.
Yeah.
External motivation or external sense of self, who I want to be, but also a confusion as to what's real, what's objectively true. So what do you do with all that?
Right. Well, if we were to summarize that, fear is just the lack of control over something. And so I fear what I can't control. I fear flying because I can't be in control in the cockpit of the plane, right?
Sure.
I fear a new, activity because I don't know what I'm doing. So I fear it. It's because I don't feel like I have a perceived sense of control. So if I am only gaining my control from external things, and that's how I get my fear subsided, then again, I'm always going to look to that person to help me be in control and subdue my fear, and then I can be okay. Yeah. So go outside first, figure it all out, and then proceed accordingly. The problem with that is that then you're grasping all the time. You are falling through space and time, just grasping at nothing, hoping that you're going to hit the mark at some point, And that's an anxious state that is really like not being able to find a home, not being able to find a place to rest, because it's always a search. It's always a constant search for that control, first of all, and it's never ending. It's never ending. So what do we do about that? Well, the basic and most simple thing that you talk about all the time, Sam, in your identity and how important identity is to figure out, who am I at the core, and who am I at the deepest part of my inscape, who on the inside, right? Yeah. And what does that look like? How am I grounded in that? And even if I don't like it, you don't have to like it right now, but just the fact that I need to connect to it, I need to have somewhere going inside first that gives me a little bit of strength and a little bit of groundedness. So then I can go outside, then I can make decisions, and then I can discern a little bit better. I'm not so grousey. I am kind of rooted right where I am.
So what does that practically look like? Because I preach it all the time. My deepest identity is I'm a daughter of God.
Yeah.
But I think that there can be a gap. It's probably an eternal gap. The Lord has to bridge it. We have to be open to it. But it's like, I hear that.
Yeah.
But how do I come to know that? And then know specifically me, Sam, is different than you.
Yeah.
And so, what does that practically look like? Like, what can our listeners do?
Right. Well, athletes, and we've talked about this, athletes have a really keen sense of physics. And they do. Both
I jump and I come down.
Yeah, exactly. They have a really keen sense of their orientation in space and time.
Yeah.
Both of our daughters, one's a dancer, but she started as a gymnast. And so she knew and still does where she is and where her body is in relation to the earth and space and time and the current moment. Our track star, right? Every time she went into the blocks, everybody has their ritual. She would like put her hand down on the ground and feel the gravel on the track, right? In terms of just like, where am I? How can I orient myself internally first? Like, where am I here? Checking in with self. Can I go inside and be like, yeah, there I am. There I am. Here I am. The ground is beneath my feet. The couch is here. The chair is here. I am in this place first before I can go external to figure out what the world needs from me, before I can push off the block, before I can do an aerial in the air. I got to know where I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think that would almost, I love the athlete analogies. And that leads to this kind of deeper understanding of, okay, not just where am I when I'm competing, but just in a day to day.
Yeah.
Like, especially those anxious thoughts come, or a situation arises, or my coach says something, or I feel that all arise. And again, external. It's like a retraining back to, I love what you said, like, where am I? Who am I? Uniquely as God's daughter. And then that allows me to kind of reframe everything.
Absolutely. And it really stops the overthinking. I hear this all the time. A coach says something, or a friend says something, or there's locker room talk or whatever. And then all I hear is like, I've got to stop overthinking that sentence or that word.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Particularly, I feel like the woman's mind.
Yeah, the woman,
it just sticks, and then it's repeat.
Fast, right?
Yeah.
And so then we go down every single rabbit hole that there is, mostly all the time negative.
Yeah.
What did I do? What are they thinking? So this I don't have any control. I don't know. I'm anxious. I'm going to perseverate over this and overthink it until I get an answer. Versus what we're talking about that says, whoa. Wait a second. Hold on. What do I know? What do I know? And if I were to check in with self right now and see me, feel the ground beneath my feet, take a minute, take a breath, and be like, okay, there is a lot of reasons for why that coach said what they said. Probably none of them are about me. Right? Did they have a bad day? Were they coming off of some other thing? Did the context was wrong? The tone was wrong. They were thinking about something else. They made a mistake. They shouldn't have said that. Okay, so now we're filtering it down to one possibility that, yeah, maybe it was about me. Okay, can I handle that? Well, sure I can. Sure I can, because I know kind of where I was, who I am, and what my intent was in that situation. So I'm better able to shoulder those things and not overthink. It stops it because I'm not so graspy out there trying to figure out every single scenario and control every single duck that I have to have in a row at all the time.
And there's almost a detachment. We talked about this earlier. What other people think matters. It's good to care.
Absolutely.
What
it's charitable.
Think. Yep. Because, they're sons and daughters of God as well.
Right.
But if I'm always seeking my external validation, if I'm always seeking my validation externally, then I have to figure out what they really meant.
Yeah.
Because that reflects back on, well, who am I?
Who am I?
And where's my self-worth?
Right.
And do I have it all together? And what do they think of me? Versus what you just said is I kind of have the sense of self.
Yeah.
And ideally it's, and this is eternal. So it's ever deepening this realization of my daughterhood. But even just who I am, that I'm unique, that I'm precious, that I'm loved, that I'm safe, that I'm in this chair, that then allows me to look at what that coach said, almost with like taking a step back.
Yeah.
Like it's not so personal anymore.
No.
And I can filter it properly then.
And I can accept it. I can accept it because I'm not so dependent upon it to dictate my next move, dictate my next thought, dictate my next feeling, especially about how I feel about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's hurtful. Like, so say that a coach says something really, really awful to me. And I have a choice at that moment. I can take it as hurt and something that is going to sting and something that's going to kind of be there for a minute that I'm going to have to get over. Or I can take it and say, oh, that must mean that I am blank.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that that happens is if there's nothing there to begin with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if I don't have anything solid there to say, wait a second, this doesn't resonate, that hurt, but that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what I intended. Did I make a mistake? Maybe, but we deserve to make mistakes. It's okay. But if I have nothing there, it's going to come in and overwhelm my sense of identity and who I am and just make me anxious for the next person. I'm going to be on guard. My fight or flight is going to be just engaged in every single conversation I have with other people, not only my coach, but roommates, parents, teachers. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think one of the biggest things you see in women's sports is confidence going up and down and up and down. And it's usually linked to what the coach is saying.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. If there is no, right, if it's empty and void, then your coach says something and it's you tank. Whereas if you have that sense of self, not only can you receive it, and oftentimes, like, even if it's delivered poorly, and again, I'm not making any excuses for the coach because there's plenty of things that I've heard or coaches have said to me that it's, I need to work through some forgiveness.
Yeah.
But it allows me to receive because ultimately the coach is there to coach me.
Well, absolutely. And you're there to be coached.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I should then be able to, if it's not like against my personhood, then I can look at what he's saying, even if it, or she said, even if it wasn't delivered in the best way, I can look and say, okay, what can I learn from here?
Yeah.
What were they actually trying to say in that moment?
And
then I can use that to get better or use that to progress or. Yeah.
Or not take it in at all. Be like, oh yeah, that's his coach. Okay. Yeah, that's coach trying to somehow coach me and love me through this. I know what I need to do. I know how I can strive for excellence here. And if that continues, then I do have the wherewithal and the confidence to go up to coach and say, yeah, I'm not understanding what you're saying, that it's not motivating me to be better. It's just motivating me to avoid and to be fearful. And that's not going to win races. Yeah.
I think that takes but again, it flows from the interior. It's like for somebody to have the maturity to approach a coach, and I think that's a skill.
Yeah.
But I think it's an important one that you don't see.
No.
To be so self-aware. And I think that's what this process allows for. I know myself. I know who I am. It's grounded in truth.
Yep.
And so I can then go to the coach and say, hey, you said this. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, hey, I know your motivation is to make me a better player.
Right.
This is what would help.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit of a lost art.
Well, and the more that we know, so if I'm like, there's so much I don't know, which if I focused on that, I would be feeling so out of control all the time, which is what the majority of women and the majority of our world actually finds itself. I get more curious when I know more about self. If I'm more grounded and more rooted in kind of like, no, I am a child of God. I am a daughter of the King. I know that I was created good. I know what my intent is. I know what I'm striving to do. I know what my best effort is. I know all those things. So now I'm just really curious about what you said. Now I'm not taking it as a statement. And now I'm not taking it as gospel. Now I'm not taking it as the truth. I'm actually saying, that doesn't make sense to me. I need to get more curious about the external world rather than holding it up to this like major player in my life that's going to dictate everything that I say and do.
Yeah. I think that's a good sign that your heart's in the right place when there's that curiosity.
That curiosity.
And it's a curious about the right things, but I think there's also I can detach from to your point, like I can't know everything. Right. I won't know everything.
Right.
And having peace with, okay, I'm actually curious about the things that I need to know or I want to know, and it's not so personal.
It's not
so offensive.
Mm-mm.
And then I think too, when we are so externally kind of motivated, we are almost like suspicious of, well, what do they mean by that? And well, it must have been bad. And again, to your point of a lot of our thoughts are negative, but I think when we know who we are, I think it allows us to assume goodwill, which I find a way more freeing posture. Something I've had to work on is like, no, I'm going to assume that they didn't mean harm by that, or they meant good. Or, I mean, again, you have to.
Well, right. And I think what you're hitting on a really wonderful topic, and that is that we're not the sum of our behaviors. And so if we know who we are and we know our imago Dei, that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and that is first and foremost who we are, then that's what we're going to see in other people. We're not going to see their behaviors. We're going to see over their behaviors and into the heart of who they are and maybe what they meant. And so, we're just going to assume goodwill. Did they make a mistake? Did they screw up? Can I forgive that? I'm going to try. But that's fixable. That's forgivable, right? Because we're not the sum of our behaviors. No one is. We are who we are in our own identity. And it's all personal and it's all very unique. But it's all lovable. Even if the behaviors are not super likable at that time. Right?
True. Had some of those. Of those. Well, I hate to do this because this conversation has been so rich, but we are going to cut this a little short. I want to encourage you as our listeners, as our takeaway for this week, I want to encourage you to just reflect on everything that Darilyn shared. Do a little bit of self-analysis. Where's my anxiety level? We're all just inundated by so much. And she has so much wisdom to offer. And so I want to pause here, give you time to process. But please come back next week. Next week is part 2 with Darilyn. We're going to talk about our superpower that we have as athletes and a tool that we've already been able to learn through sport that we can use to help us in our mental game, just in life. And then we're going to get really practical. Darilyn is going to just share some tools, a process that we can use in our daily lives, in our sport competition, when we're feeling anxious, to help ground us and to help us come away from, like she said, all the crazy exterior, interior, and just to root us in our identity and truth. So please come back next week. In the meantime, share this with a friend, start a conversation, give us a follow on whatever platform you're listening on. Let us know if we can do anything for you, and just know that we're praying for you. And we're so excited to be on this journey with you and a part of this conversation with you. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. And remember, be fierce.